Hey, welcome back to our coverage here at the Toronto Expo. I hope you've been enjoying this morning with the stuff that Coach Co was doing with. I hope you were just having a good time in seeing the stuff that he's been doing. Today, we're just right now shifting a few gears, and we were talking once again a little bit more about TCG collecting. Today, we're here with Chris from Doze. I know originally the schedule we had Justin, but hey, we upgraded, right? we upgraded.
Big upgrade for the show here.
So today we're just about, yesterday we talked about like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And about the whole phenomenon of TCGs, but I want to give us a grander picture of things, of where is the TCG as an industry, not just exclusively to Pokemon, but in general, and kind of where it's at right now, where you see it going. So how do you see where it is right now as an industry and in the market?
So the biggest thing that I'll say that I find is there's literally people for all these things everywhere. It's an international market, which is such a big thing. I kind of look at it the way, maybe people look at soccer, where there's fans everywhere for in terms of anime, Pokemon, that kind of stuff. So if you do have rare pieces in your collection or highly desirable items, there's always somebody somewhere who will want it, and that's why it's so easy and so fun to pick stuff up. Like, I've done deals in the UK, Italy, of course the States. So sometimes you have to do a little bit of outsourcing, but it's such a big community that there's so many people involved, and when there's more people involved, that's what helps it grow, because they tell other people, they get everyone involved. There's guys that come in for nostalgic reasons. So it's one of those things. Like, I've been in it about 5-6 years now, and I've seen myself make such a jump in my collection, and cards that I wanted to pick up and stuff like that. So especially with the shop and everything now, and building our community there, it's been really good, and I honestly could say I can never see it slowing down.
Right. I feel that people who are not familiar with TCGs kind of give TCGs the stigma that, oh, it's for kids. It's hard for, I guess, people to take it seriously. It wasn't, I feel, more recently over the last few years where I guess the whole market boomed, especially for TCG, where it was like, wow, I didn't know a Pokemon card could be worth this much, or a Yu-Gi-Oh card, or Magic, like when they saw like, whoa, what a Black Lotus sells for something, and they were like, wow, it really caught them off guard in terms of like, wow, this is a serious collectible. Like, do you want to chime in on that? Just kind of like the shift of the paradigm shift of how they view TCG.
So I think the biggest thing is people, outsiders looking in, how many adults are actually involved in it. So to your point, yes, there's a lot of people, Pokemon is a kid's game and stuff like that, but because it's also something a lot of people grew up on, it's the inner kid, coming out and watching this game, and especially there's big purchases made by kids and adults. Like there's a lot of kids that have, like, even here today, they've had crazy stuff that I've seen come by the booth. It's really impressive to what these kids kind of have, but you kind of want to keep everybody involved. So I think in terms of Pokemon, because One Piece is a little bit, it's new. It has been around a long time, but in terms of Pokemon, they make sets, and I feel like they cater to all their collectors. They cater to 151 was such a big set because it brought a lot of people back into the hobby. And I can't tell you how many guys I've had come by the shop and they're like, oh, I want 151.
And you still have people here looking for 151, right?
Yeah. So I can't hold any 151 singles like that. But that set, people saw it, heard about it, and it brought them back in. So Pokemon has to know what they're doing when it comes to stuff like that, because with Paradox Rift, it's all the newer Pokemon and stuff like that. So, the kids playing the games and stuff, it gives them a chance to go after and chase their legendaries and, chase Pokemon the way that we did with certain ones, but they're not in as many sets as they are now. And then, a set like 151 comes out, it's catered to the big three. And stuff like that, the legendary birds. And so that's the one thing I find that they do really well. And for outsiders looking in, that how they can get involved in, because everyone has like some knowledge, right? Like everyone knows Pikachu and Charizard and stuff like that. So stuff like that, they'll see that, and that's what I feel like will help them get back in. But in terms of value, there's definitely value in a lot of stuff, and yes, it may come to surprise to a lot of people, but it's out there, and if you needed to hear it from us, we're confirming that for sure.
It's. I think a lot of sports card collectors don't get the dynamics of TCG because it's the point that you brought up. There's the collector side, and there's actually the player side of people playing this competitively, and it's like in sports cards. You can't play with them. It's a collection piece, it's a show piece, or for investment. But there's a vibrant community of players in all TCGs, and they'll thoroughly enjoy it as a game. Yeah. And the interesting dynamic that TCG has that doesn't exist in sports cards, right? Yeah. And I think that's the cool thing about it because it appeals to the collectors who want the rare cards or particular characters that they like. But at the same time, there's a lot of staple cards or $1, $2, and stuff that they need to play competitively in their deck. And how in each form's of their own game, they have to update their decks continually in order to stay competitive, like every few months or at least once a year, to be able to play in a viable tournament and succeed, right? Yeah. So that to me is like it's an interesting thing itself that a lot of sports guys might not understand, right?
It could be a little more diversified on that way because but the same thing could be said for sports, right? Like one thing I can say is I've been on both sides of the counter, right? I've been a guy that was hustling cards and picking up stuff for my collection, and that's what I'm saying, right? You kind of have to know like who your clients are, what they're kind of after, but at the same time, one thing I've come to learn is there is not a single person that is unmovable. Like there's somebody who collects something. Yeah.
Like me, I'll collect all Snorlax cards. For Pokemon. Yeah.
So stuff like that. Like I have guys that like Taco Fall was a big one. I remember guys always wanted Taco Fall. So whenever you wanted something like that, pick that up and get it to them or trade them for something that you need.
That's true. Yeah.
So stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. From a sports card and TCG card, because I've been in both worlds, there's ways. That's why I always say too. Like I always have guys like, oh, like I wish I could have this, or like just something along those lines. They'll say something like that to me, and I'm like, hey, listen, like I started somewhere, right? So I always want to help people because I was that person at one point, right? Yeah. I was that kid. So
we were all customers or collectors first before being in a business, so to speak, right?
Right. So at the end of the day, let's be real, we're hobbyists. Like there's so many things today that have come by the booth, and I'm just I said, hey man, like thanks for bringing this by. It's so awesome to see this.
Yeah, it's brings about that fun element as opposed to just like a investment piece. It's just you're enjoying this thoroughly as a like I said, it's part of your childhood. It's part of who you are, right?
Yeah. This is definitely what we love to do, for sure.
All right, so let's talk what's hot in TCG right now. Like, is there particular games, particular cards? Like, what are the things that right now that people are looking for? People always like can't get enough of, or just in general, what are people wanting?
So, I'll go right to start off. I'll go right back to 151. It's been awesome to see how quickly the stuff is flying off the shelves. Whenever I get singles, I can't keep them in my inventory. It's been a crazy ride with that set. So I'll definitely say that's hot right now. One Piece has truly amazed me.
Yeah, that's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I've never watched. I started watching the show because like a lot of customers come in, they're like, you gotta watch it.
The Netflix live action, what are you talking about? We're getting back to anime.
Yeah.
Or both.
Well, what I'm getting at is, it's crazy like how, sorry, yes, the anime, and I've watched a bit of the live action as well.
Okay.
But it's crazy how much like people were going crazy for it. Like it came out, and when it was announced that OPO1 Romance Dawn was coming out, we had people like, oh, we need boxes. And we're like, okay, like you don't know how it's gonna do. Like,
right. Yeah.
No one has a crystal ball. No one said, hey, it was gonna be it's gonna take the TCG market by storm. So it's been awesome because every set that has come out is super desired. The playability side,
I know. And people told me it's fun. It's actually fun playing it.
The playability side is again something that I feel is in its own ball game. I feel like maybe just from my personal experience, with the Pokemon players like picking up stuff, I feel like the One Piece players are constantly trying to get stuff for their decks and improve their decks. Again, like I said, it could be like that for Pokemon, just from my personal experience.
Right.
That's the way it's been. But yeah, One Piece is something that's definitely something, even for like a sport card guy, definitely look into that. Definitely try to pick up some sealed product, because those boxes are becoming more and more scarce and more and more desirable by the day.
And I think what One Piece does well is just the rarities that they've done. That's actually like, they make the alternate arts really look really cool, right? And they make the really rarer cards with the manga rares and stuff. To me, it's like, it's a rarities that make sense to collectors, and at the same time, they visually look good.
Yeah.
No, so I think they've done that very well.
They definitely, even I feel a lot of people really like Dragon Ball for the look as well. They do a really good job. Same thing with One Piece. Like they truly do such a good job with their kind of stuff, and their quality of their cards is also.
That's
really
true. It's almost like guaranteed PSA 10s.
Yeah, we could be honest. Like it's not that it's guaranteed. I've definitely seen 9s come up, but the quality is very good. And let's be real, for you guys want to see 10s, so it's definitely, if you're buying raws, you could definitely get 10s for sure.
The quality control is very good. Yeah.
BGS Pristines as well. If you guys want to chase that kind of stuff, it's definitely something to go after.
So what else is hot? What are, or maybe even just even other games?